Amorim is a global company operating in more than 35 countries. We saw COVID-19 appearing in different geographies at different periods of time. It does not mean that we were anticipating the consequences of this virus. It means that we had the first sensitivity of what was about to come from the beginning of February, when some of our customers from France, from Australia, were stopped on their exports of wine into China. The wine, sparkling wine and spirits, it represents 70% of our total business. So we are quite exposed to what happens in these segments. Over the rise of this crisis, we have seen different things happening. Clearly, the off-trade segment, the supermarkets, the online channel, have been the ones progressing the most. We have seen markets where home consumption of wine has increased dramatically, positively, has increased in more than 20%, 30%. So countries like Spain, countries like the US, countries like Italy, home consumption has clearly grown over this period of time. It meant that for a company that has more than 30,000 customers worldwide, we have a very big responsibility of continue to operate and keep our supply chain open for our clients to use our products in their bottles. So the first decision that we took is that we cannot put the supply chain in jeopardy. We cannot shut down. I know what the media is telling us. I know what politicians sometimes want us to do, but there was sheer determination and resolve in order for us to continue to operate. At the beginning, it was a little bit tough because our own people were anxious about leaving their comfortable homes, coming to work in the company that eventually they could get infected at the working place. So we were very, very disciplined about how to create the necessary safety, protective measures for our people to really come to work without any anxiety. And we achieved doing that very successfully. And until now, we have not stopped with any single production plant because the responsibility that we have to supply all the wineries in the world and the support that we had seen in our people really made that commitment possible. Over March and April, I must tell you that we have not seen yet an impact of this crisis. The supply chain of the wine business continued to operate. Some customers, of course, they closed down. Some others were supplying the supermarkets channel, and some others were already preparing the rebound of the economy. So we all know that sooner or later, because there is no more tourism, because consumption is going to be affected anyway, namely at restaurants, catering, hotels, so we will be impacted by that. We believe that the first month where we'll see the first impact of this crisis is going to be May, June, hopefully, with the opening up of most economies in Europe and hopefully the US. Probably this HoReCa, the restaurants channel, will open up and we'll probably see a new enthusiasm. Overall, we will be impacted. I don't believe we will be as much impacted as some of our customers. Why? Because the high-end segments of the wine industry, those will have to be bottled anyway. And it's a question of time until those wines are sold and consumed when things get back to more normal times, which probably will take still a while for that to happen. So in the meantime, we have kept these discipline measures inside our company. We kept, even in a country like Italy, we are in the Veneto area, so very neighboring to the most troublesome Lombardia territory. We've kept our companies working and we kept even hiring people in the month of April, because most of our competitors had shut their operations down throughout that period of time. So we look at this crisis not as an opportunity, but we have to look at the positive side of this crisis, which has been create more agility inside our companies, really have the support. When you feel that you have an army behind you to fight such a war, you feel confident about the outcome. And that's what we felt with the support of everybody that works in our company. And we believe that the home consumption of wine will take a different step forward, that will be there to stay for the future to come. So overall, of course, that this is going to negatively affect us. Well, first it started by cancelling all the celebrations of the 150 years that we had prepared for AMORIM in 2020. But more important than that, I think we'll be affected, but we will survive. And hopefully we will be getting a lot more agility from this crisis going forward. The lessons we have taken from this crisis: first, the crisis is not over yet. So there's going to be more to come. Unfortunately, the V-shaped recovery of the economy is not going to be there in 2020. But we all know that's going to be a day after for this crisis. We all know that sooner or later we'll have a vaccine that will finally put a full stop on this crisis. What will be the takeaways that we would have from this crisis? First of all, to work really closely with your people. Because at the end of the day, they were the ones that were there to support with their own personal effort and involvement the decision of the company to stay open and to remain operational. Without their support, without their work, without their commitment to help the company that pays them a salary at the end of the month, I do not think we would have gone through this crisis with the results that we are having so far. Second important takeaway is that we are all prepared to fight whatever crisis for 1 or 2 months. We are probably not prepared to fight for a crisis that may last a few months, a year, 18 months eventually. So we need absolutely to have the balance sheet capable of surviving for a long period of time in times of hardship. So never be imprudent about the management of your balance sheet, because you may need a strong one in order to keep alive for the future. And for a company that, as I said, that is celebrating 150 years of history, we have been through world wars, we have been through a lot of economic crises, we have been through a lot of terrible times, but that solidity has always been there, and that's what keeps us alive for this long period of time. I think that basically we will have to see the business that we support with our products, how will they perform beyond the current crisis. It's clear the resilience of the wine business all along this crisis. It was even considered as an essential activity in countries like Spain, in countries like Italy, and in countries like, or places like California, where the wine companies were allowed to continue to operate and their supply chain accordingly. So I believe that home consumption will, of course, be very important in the future. The online channel has certainly been accelerated by the whole of this crisis. In America, the online channel almost compensated the losses that the Napa companies had on their sale of wine on premise, which is really remarkable for a period like this. So every single winery will have a clear online strategy, a D2C, direct-to-consumer strategy as we go along. What are the consequences directly on our business activity? It's clearly that we need to have an extensive portfolio of products capable of supplying the different business segments that our customers have. We supply corks from 3-4 cents to 3-4 euros. At the beginning of this crisis, the ones that we sold the most were in the lower market segments. I believe that when restaurants open up, when the online channel will become even more active, when the direct-to-consumer channel will be even more operational, we'll see that the higher end of our products will perform the best. We also have within our business 3 different divisions: wine, sparkling wine, and spirits. Sparkling, champagne, cava is certainly been a lot more affected by this crisis than the wine and the spirits segment. So being involved in different markets, with different products, with different geographies, it's absolutely crucial to keep your independence, to keep your autonomy, and to keep your survival as the future presents it. So a lot of lessons, but the most important one is stay close to your people, because when times become really hard, they are the only ones that can really support your tough decisions that times force you to make. And I think this is the best takeaway. Stay close to your people, because they will be your biggest support when in times of hardship.